If you were to ask most Yankee fans, if we started out the season 17-12 with the best offense statistically in baseball, would you be okay with that start? I think most people would be okay with it, especially with a 1.5 game lead in the AL East and Aaron Judge still looking like an MVP candidate. But there are some other problems with this team that, if they do not get rectified, can destroy everything they have built. What's going on, guys? The King of 161st Gen. I'm back in another video, and I think the Yankees officially have a pitching problem. Devin Williams just got demoted out of his closer role, and yes, I'm a little late to this because he just had his first outing as a setup man and pitched okay. Got through the inning, had no real trouble out of it. A lot of people would say that's a great outing, but there were still a lot of things wrong that are very troublesome that came from that outing. And then in the starting rotation, Will Warren sometimes just decides, I'm not going to throw strikes today. Carlos Rodon, although he's been good, has had his blow-ups. Carlos Carrasco is on the verge of a blow-up at any time. The only consistent starter is Max Fried, and he is where I'm going to start with the good, because I want to tell you guys about the good things in this rotation before I explain everything wrong with the pitching staff. So with Max Fried, he has been a Cy Young Award candidate. Even in his bad outings, even in his shaky outings, he gives up one earn. Even when he's not looking his sharpest, he's just missing off the corner. He's just not hitting the spot exactly. This is exactly what the Yankees needed, especially with Garrett Cole being on the shelf for the entire year. The Yankees needed a number one, and that is what Max Fried has been. A lot of people thought we overpaid for Max Fried. I think he's showing right now why maybe overpaying a little bit was a good option for the New York Yankees to make sure that this pitching staff was secure. Because without Max Fried right now, I don't know where the Yankees are. Moving on to other goods to this pitching staff, you have the new closer, Luke Weaver. Now his velocity has started off a tick below where it did to end last year, but even with that, he still has not allowed a run through over 13 innings. He has still looked unhittable. His new motion, he's able to get easy velocity. Doesn't put much strain on his body. Doesn't look like he's trying too hard. And now that his velocity has ticked back up from the start of the year, he looks like a beast. And I think Aaron Boone made a terrific decision, especially with the way he worded it. Moving Luke Weaver to that closer role, but the whole time he said, for now. For now, Devin Williams is out of the closer role. For now, Luke Weaver will get the majority of those reps. I like that because it leaves the door open for Devin Williams if he does start to look like the Devin Williams of old, and we'll get to Devin in a second. Right now, Luke Weaver might be one of the best relievers in baseball. That's how good Luke Weaver has been. And I'm happy that he's going to be manning the helm while we wait for Devin Williams to get right. Another guy that has been super impressive so far is Fernando Cruz. I told you guys this offseason when we traded for him that he has one of the nastiest pitches in baseball. One thing I did not expect from it is that it makes legendary hitters look like nobody. They make them look stupid, and that's what this splitter has done to Ketel Marte, to some of the best hitters in the entire league. Fernando Cruz has been one of the biggest revelations for this rotation, and I think Brian Cashman deserves a ton of credit in making that trade, getting rid of Jose Trevino, a fan favorite, to get a guy who, yes, his stats did not look great last year. He was also playing in Great American Ballpark. Great American Ballpark is a ballpark that is easier to hit home runs than Yankee Stadium. Fernando Cruz needed to get in the lab with Matt Blake and figure out his pitch mix. It seems like he has been super excited to be in pinstripes, something that I love to see, and he has performed. Any spot the Yankees tend to give him, he shines, and I love that from Fernando Cruz. Outside of those three big pluses, there's a lot wrong with this pitching staff, and I want to start with Devin Williams. Devin Williams, like the headline says, got demoted from the closer role blew another save on Friday, and that was probably the most inexcusable blown save of his entire career. Look, the one in Tampa Bay, you can make the argument. Soft contact, a couple plays that should have been made. He probably should have gotten out of that. This time, on Friday night, there was zero upside to what happened. Every ball that got hit was hard. Every single shot was his fault. It was bad location, not just a good swing. And he didn't even get an out. His stuff looked terrible. That was the breaking point for Aaron Boone. The real issue with Devin Williams, in the past with Milwaukee, he had a fastball that was about 95 to 96. Then he mixed in that airbender changeup that goes 89 to 88 miles an hour. Right now, that discrepancy has shrunk because he's throwing his fastball about 93 to 94. Hitters are sitting fastball because it's not a threat right now. If you throw a fastball at 93 miles an hour, there's college players that can hit that shit 500 feet. And especially as a closer, you cannot come into the game and throw 93 to mix with an 88 mile an hour changeup. That's just not enough discrepancy for a hitter to be that fool. And that makes me think that there's a possibility of an injury. I don't know. They haven't said anything, and he's already had an outing. So maybe it's not an injury. Something is wrong. Mechanically, mentally, physically, something has gone awry that has decreased velocity for Devin Williams. And even though he's never been a major velocity guy, he's not an Aroldis Chapman that pitches at a 98, 99 mile an hour pace, he still uses the velocity at that 95 to 96 to create a 7 to 8 mile an hour discrepancy with that changeup. And when that changeup is moving all over the place like it's a fucking knuckleball, with that type of discrepancy, if it starts out looking like a fastball and dies like that, that's where he gets his swings and misses. That's where he starts to make hitters look like the way Fernando Cruz makes hitters look. But when it's 93, hitters can just sit on it. Hitters can just sit on it and smash it. And that's exactly what people have done. At first, when it was the opening day, Devin Williams struggled a little bit with that changeup. He gave him the excuse that it was his former team. They've seen it a million times, but time and time again, it seems like hitters are just sitting on fastball and fouling off that changeup. It doesn't seem like they're as phased by it anymore. And I think it has a lot to do with that velocity difference. I don't know where you go from here with Devin because he doesn't even know where to go from here. He said to the media, I don't know what's wrong. It just seems like nothing's working right now. That's where Matt Blake has his wits ahead of him right now. He has a fucking job to do because if he can now reshape Devin Williams and bring him back to form, Matt Blake might just be the best pitching coach of all time. I don't know, because there's no real rhyme or reason. There's just certain details popping up and Devin Williams looking like jack shit. Again, no injury has been announced. No mental anguish has been announced. We don't know anything going on with Devin Williams other than he has sucked ass. It seems like mechanically he's doing the same things. I'd have to take a deeper dive to see exactly if he changed anything with his mechanics, but it seems like he looks similar to what he looked like in Milwaukee, wind-up wise. Maybe it has something to do with New York, but I don't even think this is anything to do with New York. It's too soon. Joey Gallo had a moment in the sun before he tapered off. Greg Bird had his moment in the sun before he tapered off. Devin Williams really hasn't had his moment in the sun. I don't know where the Yankees go from here with him. It's been a terrible start. Hopefully, this outing in the 8th inning of the first game of the Baltimore series gives him a bit of confidence and he can build off of it. But again, he's still ranging 93 to 94 in that outing. So who knows where he goes from here. Next on my list, I want to go to Will Warren. Will Warren has a lot of potential to be a great starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's got a great breaking ball and his fastball, it has some life to it. The problem with Will Warren, and I don't mean any offense by it, but there are days where Will Warren plays like a fucking pussy. Plain and simple. The outing in Tampa Bay where Aaron Boone luckily pulled him in time to keep the Yankees in that game. And this past outing against Baltimore, he just sometimes decides, I'm not throwing the ball in the zone. I'm not going to. And he causes so many problems for himself. And then once the bases, players on them, he has to throw the ball in the zone. So then he lobs one in there like he did to Ryan O'Hearn and gives up that 3-run homer. Luckily, in the Tampa start, Aaron Boone had the wherewithal to pull him in time. I bet this time they said, you know what? We're going to give him a moment to see if he could get out of this. That's what would have happened in Tampa if Aaron Boone did not pull him. Will Warren needs to just be more confident in his own stuff. When he gets to 2 strikes, there's a lot of times where he just avoids the zone at all costs. He throws everything in the dirt or everything 10 feet high. He's trying to avoid getting hit. Sometimes you gotta trust your defense. Trust that your stuff is good enough because you have the movement. Will Warren has good stuff. He doesn't believe he has good stuff, at least from what I'm seeing. If he has that belief, then I don't know what the fuck is going on, because that command is awful to the point where it's deliberate. Will Warren has to find a way to gain some confidence, and not just confidence on a general basis, because I know Aaron Boone's gonna say, yeah, in the locker room he says this, he says that. He needs confidence pitch by pitch, that I have the stuff to get out of this. Like in the first inning, you had second and third, nobody out, and you got out of that with no runs. The fact that that confidence did not transfer over to the next few innings, there is some issues there. You need to trust your stuff to make it in Major League Baseball. And right now, what I'm seeing from Will Warren is a guy who doesn't trust anything. There's some days where he comes into a start and says, I need the other team to help me out because I'm not throwing the ball in the zone. And that's the result you get. He pitched us out of that game, and the Yankees almost hit their way back into that game. If Paul Goldschmidt gets that 2-run homer, we might actually win on Monday night. But Will Warren has to be better. We already know the issues with Marcus Stroman. He's on the 10-day IL. With Carlos Carrasco, I already have a video on this channel talking exclusively about why Carlos Carrasco should not be pitching for the New York Yankees. How do the Yankees fix this rotation? I don't know. I truly don't. There's a couple ways that they could go, but again, I don't have any real answers here. One thing for the starting rotation, if they wanted to add a little bit of depth and see how good Matt Blake really is, Tristan McKenzie just got DFA'd from the Cleveland Guardians, and he accepted his option down to AAA. Right now, it seems like Cleveland is basically done with the Tristan McKenzie experience. The Yankees could swoop in, get the New York kid, and say, here, this is your home. You're near your hometown. Let's get you comfortable and let's get you throwing strikes. And on the flip side, if we looked at the bullpen, I don't think they need to do too much to this bullpen. But if they wanted to add a bit of insurance, David Robertson is sitting in free agency. And although he's in his 40s, that man's cutter still plays with the best of them. But again, I don't think there needs to be much done with that bullpen because of the Luke Weavers of the world. Because they have guys like Mark Leiter, who's inconsistent, but still has the goods to be at least solid. Other guys are going to be coming back. Fernando Cruz has looked like a stud. Tim Hill is looking great. Ryan Yarbrough gave us a great outing to keep this bullpen steady on Monday. This is a great bullpen, but if they wanted some insurance to make sure that Devin Williams doesn't screw it up too much, David Robertson is still in free agency. But with that starting rotation, until Luis Hill gets back, maybe giving Tristan McKenzie a call and giving the Guardians a chance to make an offer is not the worst thing in the world. But anyways, guys, that is it for me. What do you think about this rotation? Do you think there's going to be a bounce back coming soon? Or do you think the Yankees rotation is in a bad space? Let me know in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.